What is going on, everyone? This is Brett Darian, and it is time for my first major upgrade for this year of 2022. This is going to be my first PC building video. Never done one of these before, but this is a very special day because the last time I built a PC was almost 10 years ago. My current PC build, I built it back in November of 2012. It has an i7 3770K processor with 16 gigabytes of DDR2 1066 RAM. And despite how dated it is, it's still a fairly capable machine. I've really been having no problems with it. It's still been playing games and running videos and editing videos, and it's actually been working okay. Though it has been starting to show its age in some regards. So I've been debating about upgrading my build for probably about a couple of years now, and I finally decided to pull the trigger and get all new PC parts, a new computer tower, new motherboard, new CPU, new power supply, new everything, except for the graphics processor, because GPUs are very expensive now, so I'm still going to be keeping my GTX 1070 for probably still quite a while. But everything else is going to be brand new. So this is not going to be a step-by-step guide on how to build a PC. I'm sure there's already a lot of videos on YouTube about how to do that properly, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to start building this PC right now, and I'm just going to show you some highlights about what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with installing these case fans. These case fans are from, they're from AsiaHorse, which is a cheaper off-brand. But I was just looking for basic RGB fans, and these fit the bill. So hopefully these last a while. So anyway, I'm gonna start disassembling this case, and we'll install these PC fans first, and then we'll get to the rest of the stuff. So this is a Fantex Enthoo Pro case, and you have these two thumb screws right here, so we just have to... And this is a tempered glass door, so it just opens up like this. And the case comes with two fans installed. These are 140 millimeter fans. There's one here in the back, and there's one here in the front. Now my plan is to disconnect these two fans and put them on top, and put my colored fans here, and put two of them here, because there's three in this case. So I'm going to put two of them here for an intake, and the other one here as an exhaust, and these two black fans will be on the top as well for an exhaust as well. So it looks like I have to take out this tray and pop off this front panel. So I will do that now. Okay, so all the case fans are in. You can see them here. Again, these are going to be intake fans. And the two fans that came with the case are now mounted on top. So these are going to be exhaust fans. And you also got the one fan there in the back. Now I am a little confused on the wiring, because not all of these wires here, especially for these two front case fans, they're not going to reach all to the motherboard. I know you can interconnect these fans, but these have two separate wires, one for power and one for the RGB. And I think I do have the RGB interconnected, but I still can't get the wire to the motherboard. So I may have to get an extension for that. And this is the power, because this is the fan controller here. And this wire here goes to the motherboard, which I can connect that. But I'm not sure if this will power all three fans or not. So I'm not entirely sure that. We'll work with that as we go, but for now, I guess the next step would be to put the motherboard in. Okay, so here is the motherboard that I chose. It is the ASUS Tough Gaming motherboard Z690 plus Wi-Fi. This is the DDR5 version, not the D4 version. So this supports DDR5, has PCI Express 5.0, has Bluetooth, supports Wi-Fi 6E, and of course supports the latest Intel processors with the EVGA 1700, and it has the Aurora sync as well for RGB. So let's just open it up. Very nice. So we'll take this out very carefully. There's some software and stuff in there. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yep, here's the motherboard right here. Be very careful when taking this out, so I'll take this out when we put it in the case. And on the bottom of the box here, we have the manual and the user guides, and it looks like some SATA cables, and of course some stickers to show that you're a tough gamer. So there's the motherboard, and here is the RAM that I'll be using. This is the Kingston Fury DDR5 4800. I just got one stick for now, so this will be a single channel, but I'll probably throw in another stick in the future for dual channel. And here is the processor that I will be using. This is the i7-12700K. This is the latest generation as of this video with EVGA 1700. So this is a 8-core physical cores and 4 E-cores. So this is the latest generation. My current 3770K was only a quad core. So this should be at least twice the power. So that'll be awesome. Okay, well, before we actually put the motherboard inside the case, it's easier to install the CPU right here with the motherboard out of the case, so we have more room to work. Now, I will say, before you touch any of these components, you need to make sure you're grounded. So, like, touch the outer metal casing of your computer tower, or touch anything that's metal or something, or even wear a wristband if you can, so that way there's no static flowing through you, because that can definitely damage these components. So anyway, yes, we just have to lift up this handle here, and this little plastic tab should come right off. Alright guys, and here's the CPU right here. We open up this lid, and there it is. It's so small. Alright, so we gotta handle this extremely careful. All those pins down there, and you can see a small little arrow right there. So this should slide in right here like this. That should sit in place, and then once it sits into place, that's it. You're done. And you just do that, and now the scary part. So you have to bend this and stick that under there, and now that's it, you're done. It feels like you're going to break it, but you're not. And that's it. CPU's installed. Okay, so now that the CPU's installed, the next thing to install will be the cooler, which is going to be the Hyper 212 RGB Black Edition from Cooler Master. And I don't know if you can see this. I know the lighting in here isn't the best, but you might be able to see that there are actually multiple screw holes here for the mounting bracket, and that's because this motherboard is designed to work with either EVGA 1700 sockets, or you can also hook up a EVGA 1200 cooler to this motherboard and it will work. And I think that's what this is. This does not natively support an EVGA 1700 slot, but since this motherboard has multiple screws for an EVGA 1700 slot or an EVGA 1200 mounting bracket, then we can install this cooler on this motherboard without buying a separate EVGA 1700 mounting bracket. So the cooler itself is right here in this packaging, so you can see it's really big. So we're going to take this out. And yeah, so check that out. That is the radiator. And I'm also going to continue to use air cooling because I've never had a problem with air cooling either. I'm not quite ready to step up to water cooling yet. Maybe I will do that sometime in the future. But again, I've never had a problem with air cooling, so I'm going to continue to use it. But I will have more fans in this build, so hopefully that'll still keep my system relatively cool. So let's install this cooler. Okay, so this cooler does not have a thermal paste down at the bottom here. I think my previous cooler did, but this still does come with thermal compound right here in this little tube. So we just have to apply that carefully, sort of like that. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, so with the thermal compound applied, now we just stick the heatsink on there. And now we just tighten it down. Alright guys, so I have the CPU cooler completely installed and wired up. And it also comes with this controller here for the RGB on the fan. So you can turn it off, or you can change colors or something, all using this built-in remote. And it just plugs into to one of these Molex connectors from your power supply. So that's pretty cool. So the last thing that I think that I'm going to install before putting this motherboard in its final place in the case is the SSD drive. And I have a M.2 drive here. This is the SSD Samsung 980. This is not the latest PCI Express 4, but this is still a PCI Express 3, and it's a little cheaper too than the PCI Express 4 one. So, but this will still be really fast. This is much faster than what I've gotten, so this will do for now. I'm sure it'll be more than enough for my needs. So we're going to open this, slide this out here, and there it is. I mean, look how tiny that is. I mean, this is my hand, and look how small that is. So yeah, that's even smaller than I was expecting. So we're going to remove the cover here from the M.2 slot. And we're going to need a smaller screwdriver for this. There you go. And now this just a little bit more. There you go. So now that lifts up. Whoa. Wow, there is nothing under there at all. Okay, here it is. Here is the SSD drive. This is basically your hard drive. This is where all your programming and stuff go on. I mean, look at this. Look how thin this is. This is really thin and very, very light. Man, we sure have come a long way in 10 years, I can tell you that. Alright, so we have to install this. I guess it goes in this way. There you go. It goes in like that. Very weird. It's kind of weird how it's upside down. Maybe they put the label upside down. That's kind of funny. Okay, that's installed. So now we just have this right here. There's a little clip here you turn. And now that's completely installed. And it looks like the label is upside down for some reason, but yeah, so this is in. So now we just got to put the just put the cover back on here. There you go. Now we just screw this back in here. Very carefully. And there you have it. So we have the SSD drive installed, the CPU and the CPU cooler is installed. So I say we're ready to put this motherboard into the case. So let's do it. Alright guys, well, we're really making progress now. I have the motherboard in the case. I know the lighting's pretty bad. I wish the lighting was better in my kitchen, but I'm just going to use a flashlight. So the good thing about this case is that it already has standoffs already built in. So instead of installing those separately, they're already there. So all you gotta do is just set the motherboard into place and then screw it in. And if I didn't mention it before, this case is a Fantex Enthoo Pro. And it comes with this case of screws here. So this is what all the screws are. So this comes with screws to install the motherboard in, as well as the power supply and all that. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just installing the rest of the screws on the motherboard. And I guess next, we'll tackle the power supply and try to get some power flowing to this thing. So that'll be exciting. Alright y'all, it's power supply time. This is an EVGA 850 GT. It's an 80 plus gold certified 850 watt. This should be plenty of power for my setup. So here we go, let's open it up. Oh yes, nice and shiny. It smells like electronics. We got your manual, really thick power cable. And this power supply is modular, so you can hook up whatever cables you need, and it comes with a whole bunch. So I definitely won't need all of these, but we'll find out which ones I do need. And the actual power supply. Here, this bag. So it's taped up here. Ooh, yes. So there's where all your wires clip into. It's upside down. This is where all of your wires clip into, and they're all appropriately labeled. Yeah, looks pretty sturdy. I mean, EVGA makes good graphics cards, so sure they make good power supplies too, right? So this is the power supply switch, and there's the other side. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna hook this up. I'm gonna put this in, and we'll power it on. We might be getting close to that. We might be getting close to the power on point, just to see if it posts or not. That'll be interesting. Anyway, I'll check in with you guys soon. Hello again, everyone. So I've been working on this for about 5 hours now, and this is the progress that I have made so far. So motherboard is in, CPU cooler is in, the case fans are in, though I'm not sure if they're wired up correctly yet, because again, some of the wires will not reach to the fan headers on the motherboard, so I'll have to see what I can do about that. But I also took the liberty of installing the RAM stick off camera, but it just simply snaps into place. But again, yeah, so that is in there, so that should be in the proper position. So I think we are now ready for my very first post test. So I have the power supply hooked up here, and I got all the necessary connections. Of course, I don't have any optical drives in here. I don't have any, I don't have a graphics card in here, but I do have, this motherboard does have onboard video. So I have an HDMI cable hooked up to my TV, and we're going to turn this on and see what happens. So here we go. I want to power on the power supply. And you see, we already got some LEDs going on. We already got some RGB action happening here. So that at least might be a good sign. But here comes the real test. We are going to see if the thing turns on at all. Oh my goodness. Check this out, man. Check it out. Look at all this. Check this out! The fans look awesome. And they're spinning. Now, I'm not sure if, oh, look, and it's also posting. So we have a successful boot on the computer. So this is an awesome start. Wow, look how this is all lit. This is really awesome. Now, unfortunately, like I thought, these two case fans here, they're not spinning. The RGB is working, so that's cool, but they're not spinning, and that's because I do not have them connected to the motherboard because, again, the cables are too short to reach. This one I do have connected right down there. Right there, that cable right there. That's powering this fan, but I'm going to have to see what else I can do to power these two fans. But the RGB is working. This fan is working. So I'm trying to figure if this is an exhaust. This might be installed backwards because it feels like the air is blowing this way. So I may have to take this fan back out and reverse it. But yeah, look at that. We have a green light here, and CPU fan is spinning, and the RGB is working. So I am happy. I think this is a very good start. And once again, we do have a successful post. All right, guys. Well, I need to stop for the night. It's been several hours messing with wires and installing computer fans and reading instruction manuals and all that fun stuff. But I need to stop. It's been several hours. It's in the evening now. It's nighttime, and I need to eat some dinner. And I got to edit this video, which is probably going to take a couple of hours on its own. So I'm going to stop for the night, and I'll probably work on this more tomorrow. So this will be like a two-part video. This will be part one, and part two will be the finishing touches on the computer. What I'll do next probably is I'll probably permanently install the power supply into the case and redo some wiring and do some more cable management and see if I can hook up those two front fans and get them spinning. And then after that, I'll probably start working on probably migrating to this new machine. So I really look forward to that. I'm really happy with the progress I made today. I'm happy that it posted on its very first try, and the power supply seems to work fine, so that's good. So still got some things to learn here and to figure out, but overall I'm really happy with the progress I made today, and I look forward to using this machine for many years to come. And the RGB looks really nice. I was a little skeptical about using the RGB. I thought it might be a little too flashy, a little too bright, but honestly, I think it looks really cool. So hopefully you guys agree. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching part one of this video, and feel free to leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and look forward to part two. I'm not sure exactly when I'll make that, because I'm not sure when I'll actually be migrating over to this system, because I'm still going to be using my old PC for a little bit, because I'm still using the graphics card. Because I'm going to be using the graphics card that's in my current PC. I'll be putting that into this system. That's why I don't have a GPU here to put in this one. So I won't be doing that until I'm completely ready to migrate from my old setup to this setup. So that'll be a little later. But again, for now, once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.